Have you ever been playing Tears of the Kingdom and thought to yourself, I could use some eggs? Like, a lot of eggs. Then boy do I have good news for you. Welcome to the world of industrial farming. And you may think to yourself, why on earth could I possibly need this many eggs? What could I possibly do with this many eggs? And well, you know, they're extremely useful for plenty of things, such as cooking. The thing is, getting this many eggs is actually not that hard. See, the first thing you're going to want to do is go here to Riverside Stable. Then right here, there's going to be a cuckoo pen. It's going to have this quest here that you complete. Next thing, you're just going to want a very simple auto-build contraption that looks something like this. Now, I don't want to waste all my zonite on building this, so I'm going to walk you through where to find all of these pieces. The build's going to consist of 5 sleds, 2 frost emitters, 2 homing carts, and a stake. At least as far as zonite posts go, and most of them you can find at this dispenser in the North Gerudo Sky Archipelago. The only one that's not in here is the homing carts. For those, I'm going to recommend this dispenser in the Sakala Sky Archipelago above Terrytown. The reason being is that because this one actually gives you a bunch of other good stuff like contract heads, cannons, and carts. All of which are quite useful. The last thing you're going to need is one of these metal crates right here. You'll either have to steal that or kill them for it. This one that I found here is just south of the Papua Foothill Skyview Tower. Okay, so once you kill all the bokoblins and yoink this thing, or just hop in and steal it like I did, you're just going to want to take one stake and attach it to this metal crate somewhere about there. It doesn't matter that much. This is mostly just so that we can actually get inside it with Ascend once the machine's actually finished. Once we've finished that, it'll show up in our auto build history. If you're paranoid, you can favorite it now, but it will stay in your history unless you build a bunch of other stuff. Now, once you have all of those materials and stuff that you need, you can come here to the Riverside Stable. I like to start over here. Next, you want to take out 2 homing carts, 5 sleds, 2 frost emitters, then 1 stake. If you want right now, you can take your auto build for the box construct that you kind of just made, build that just so we have it, and kind of just stick it off to the side. Next, for the actual kind of conveyor belt where the chickens are going to sit, you're going to take 2 of these homing carts side by side, and we'll just attach them so they're centered, just like so. Next thing you want to do is attach 2 sleds to each side like this. A couple things to note is that you're going to want it a little off-centered and the smooth side facing in like this. And the way you want it off-centered is so that the back here of these homing carts where these tails are, right here, there's going to be a little extra room there. And that's just because that's where the eggs are going to come out. So once you have both these side pieces on, the next one is going to be the back piece here. Again, you're going to want the smooth side in. It's nice if you can get it so that there's no space underneath, like so. Or at least not anything big enough for a cuckoo to fly in. Then for the last part of the cage, you're going to take another one of these sleds, put it on the front. This time though, you're going to want to leave a little gap underneath for the eggs to come out. A couple things to watch out for is make sure the gap down here isn't too big, and that there's no gap right here. So something like this is just about perfect. The next thing you're going to want to do, just to help a little bit with the loss of the eggs, is to put these stone pieces in these kind of corner pocket areas where the homing carts are. It helps if they're a little bit higher just so the eggs aren't falling down onto them and potentially breaking. Something like this is about as good as it's going to get. There's probably a more useful piece you could put here to have a more consistent collection without having to use these 3 rocks. However, I did this because I'm wanting to source all the materials from pieces that are nearby the Riverside stable. Anyways, once you have that done, the next thing you're going to do is take these 2 frost emitters, just stick them in this box for now, and make sure you can stand underneath it before doing this next part. It's important that you're going to be able to ascend up into there after this. Then take this sled as kind of a platform to attach the whole rest of the machine onto. Attach it like so. Then take your whole contraption, center it as best you can, and attach. Then you're going to want to ascend up into the cage here, and mount both of these frost emitters at these 45-degree angles, shooting into the box like this. Everything said and done, it's going to look like this. It should see that the frost covers the whole inside, and the tires are rotating towards you. If you have a few eggs on hand, you can throw some in here, just to test and make sure that the conveyor belts are working properly. Now for the last piece of this, I actually like to take the machine all the way over to the other pile of lumber over there. Then what I like to do is take one of these long boards here and attach it at a 45-degree angle like so. The one thing you're going to want to make sure is that the tip of it here matches up with the top of the sled here. In reality, you can put this on whatever side you like. Also, if you really want to, you could use 2 of the smaller square platforms over at the other wood place. But I kind of like how this one looks. Now, here's the fun part. Make sure you have your contraption at head level where you can still ascend through it. Then you're just going to need to pick up the cuckoos and walk them up here and drop them in. Now, one thing I've noticed while loading the cuckoos in is that there is some issues with de-rendering them if you look away. So if you have issues where you're trying to load them in and they'll just like fall out and like reappear back in this pen here, just try to keep your camera aimed at the like box here at all times. Then once you have all the chickens loaded in, you'll be able to ascend up through the floor here. And it looks like mine is not perfect because a chicken was able to slip through. However, it's not super necessary for rates. If you want it to be perfect, you can fiddle around with the height of this sled here. But for me, this is fine. And then here, all you should need to be able to do is give it a whack, and it'll go. You'll be getting a lot of those cuckoo attack cutscenes, but you should be able to just sit here and pick up all the eggs as they come. So from this point, I mean, you can just kind of enjoy the perks of industrial farming, load up on 999 eggs, you know, make a bunch of omelets, whatever your heart desires, enjoy. Then once you're all done farming, all you need to do, quickly hit ascend to get all on out, and enjoy.